150.
All right. I guess we'll get started here. All right. Welcome to January's meeting. And here at the lovely home school, hosted by Lionel Bloomberg. Thank you very much, Lionel, for hosting us.
Thank you for coming.
So we, as always, we'll start with what's new. So this month we'll talk about the new El Capitan update that was recently released. So I forgot to update that, but we won't be talking about watchOS or tvOS, just iOS updates. Also the Office 2016 update that just came out. And the OpenSSH and Gatekeeper vulnerabilities that people have been talking about this, at least in the past week and a half or so. So, and I forgot, there we go. So El Capitan 10.11.3, that fixes the receipt apocalypse that was introduced in El Capitan. So all you monkey people can relax and upgrade to El Capitan at your will. So without losing all your lovely history and package info. There hasn't been any new bugs reported yet, but give it time. I'm sure people will find something. And the 10.11.3 also addresses just a very small number of CVEs. So, so there's probably like a lot of, I haven't looked, I was mainly looking at what security patches were fixed and not what like any new features or other bug fixes were covered in this release. So if anybody knows, please chime in. And so as we know also before 10.11.3 drops, they introduced the 10.11.4 beta, which is actually running on this machine right now. And the last thing is that they released some security updates for Yosemite Maverick, but that mainly concerns libxLST. The syslog vulnerability that they patched was only patched in El Capitan. So that may be an issue for some people. Okay, iOS updates. So iOS 9.2.1. So people who had that issue where apps were not able to download from either the Mac Apple Store or your internal App Store, that's fixed in 9.2.1. So I know for us that affected us, and they held off. We got the notice to hold off updating to F19 until that was fixed. And today they just announced that it was okay to go to 9.2.1. So, okay, and there was a Safari update. It closes a memory corruption issue and 6 other CVEs. This one's available for Yosemite and Mavericks as well. So, and Office 2016, the 15.18 came out, which had some fixes and I think maybe a couple features in the apps. But specifically for us, it also came with the new volume license installer package. This is the official fixed version that runs at the login window with nobody in ARD. So it is fully deployment ready. So if you don't have, or if you've been using an alternate method to deploy Office 2016, check your VSLC portal and grab this one and give it a shot and make sure it's all good. There's also some changes on, and more changes coming, but I think with this update, you can set a plist and control which version of Office 2016 is your currently available version. So if you're the type that wants to hold off on, make sure you test everything before it's released. It's a plist setting now that you can set in MAU, where you basically tell it what's the current version. And until you tell it that it's matches the current released version of Microsoft, it won't advertise to your clients the newest version. So also, and this has been for a little while, I think since this 15-17, but I don't think we talked about it. But if you have O365 accounts, you can or can't, or maybe you want to suppress this, be part of the Office Insider program. Basically, that allows you, if you check, it shows up in MAU as a option, checkbox. If you click the checkbox, that makes the beta track available. So you get the new updates like a week or two before they go live. And as P. Bowden was talking about, Paul Bowden was talking about in the Slack channel, they do say that they do fix some bugs between when they have their beta release and when it actually goes live. So, use at your own risk. This is also can be suppressed with a preference setting. Details, I think, are in the Microsoft channel, or if you want to, I think I forget what was it. CL Bertelson in Slack has like that big meta Office 2016 post that's been floating around. That might be listed there too. So, now we'll talk about the Open SSH vulnerability. Basically, what ended up happening is that a long time ago, when they were doing OpenSSH, they were experimenting with the ability to resume SSH connections after disconnect, and they're called it basic roaming. And either for whatever reason they never finished it or never got it working the way they wanted it to work, so it basically abandoned it. And on the server side, there was no code shipped for this, but it seems like, at least from the stuff that I've read, that it was an oversight that left this code in the client version. So basically, what the roaming does, if there is a maliciously or compromised configured server, it can pull your private SSH keys if it knows how to ask for it. So, and yes, so that's a particular that could be a concern for some people. So, and they said it affects these versions of OpenSSH, and I checked, and Mavericks and El Capitan are clearly within the affected range. So there is, but those are Apple's versions, so it's going to be on Apple to see if they're going to patch it. I mean, you could roll your own, but that's always taking a chance. So this is basically the commands to use to set it, because it's just you edit your SSH config file to set use roaming to no, and that mitigates the issue, at least until Apple puts out a patch that removes that or includes the 7.1 P2 version of OpenSSH that has that code removed. You can check to see if you have that vulnerability by using the -v flag when connecting with SSH. And when you use that, you'll see, and I'll show you the slide in a second, you'll see after you accept it, you'll see a line that says, roaming disabled by server, so, or not used by server. So, and that means your roaming is on, which is on by default on all the OpenSSH clients. So, and so yeah, so the difference is an El Capitan puts the SSH config folder inside another directory called SSH. And in Mavericks and Yosemite, it's just in the etc root. So I haven't checked to see if it's in Mountain Lion, or anything older, because I don't care about those. But if you have older clients, you may want to check to see where it is. It's probably just sitting in the SSH config. It's probably just sitting in the etc root. But yeah, you want to double check. So, and yes, and I mentioned there's no indication yet if Apple's going to address when or if the Apple's going to address this. If it's possible, it may make it into a 10.11.4 since the beta cycle has just started. It's not in the current 10.11.4 beta because I checked on this. But yeah, so this is, if you see this when you run, this is like an example of the output. If you see this roaming not allowed by server, that means roaming is on by default. And so yeah, for the Casper people, and why did they do all that? So I wrote a quick EA to check for the presence of this vulnerability. And the link here is to a gist that I have on GitHub. It's a very basic. The check could probably stand to be a little bit more robust, but if you're looking for something to see how many of your fleet gets affected, it's probably everybody, because But if you just want to see, if you're mitigating, you're going to try and mitigate it, because I do have a little script that runs those commands to set use roaming to no, depending on the OS version. So if you wanted to use that and see if you could mitigate it, patch it in the short term while we wait for Apple to do that, you could use both of those to monitor that. That comes with a caveat with everything, your mileage may vary. So. And yeah, so it's one of those things is that I guess you'll need to evaluate how big of a problem this is in your organization. Typically, if you have anybody who's using SSH to connect to a server on the internet, you probably want to make sure that roaming is off on those machines. If you're like me and you only use SSH inside a corporate network, it's probably not as big of a deal. But yeah, so the threat level is subjective at this point. And I guess the other thing is that it's exploitable, but I don't think anybody's actually exploited it. So it's again one of those it could be exploitable it's exploitable in theory, but we have yet to see like a real world example of this. But I'm sure somebody's working on it right now. So. See hands raised over in the back. So, and we're going to talk about the gatekeeper. And I really should have checked these slides before I did this. So there's a gatekeeper vulnerability. It was originally discovered in October, and there's been some articles saying, why isn't this patched yet? So basically, the gatekeeper vulnerability, it's possible that you could have an Apple-signed app with malicious code in the app itself. And when it's installed on the machine, Gatekeeper does not flag it because it's looking for the Apple signature signed certificates in there. So, however, it's not really, not very easy to engineer, because essentially you're basically taking an app that Apple's already signed and said, this is a good app, and then replacing all the others with bad code. At least that's how it is, how it's exploitable from my understanding. So again, this is one of those things where it's been proven that it's a problem, but we have yet to see a real world example of that. It could be a problem, especially if you have users or students who download software from places that are untrustworthy, like outside the Apple Store. I find it highly unlikely that an Apple Store app could exploit this, because Apple is usually pretty stringent about the code. But again, you could probably find somebody would have to put in a lot of work and then make it available outside the App Store, and then it's possible to do this. It's just not easy. So again, judge on threat level. There is no patch in Apple, I don't think, has even addressed what they're doing about it. So we'll see. It might be addressed in 10.11.4. They might even wait till 10.12. So, and that's pretty much all I had to talk about. So, yeah, so that's about it. I know it's a low turnout here. We don't have another featured speaker tonight, unless somebody wants to do something extemporaneously right now. So with that, we'll close off the live stream and just open up for discussion. So, thanks for playing.